After a season away from Europe, we are back in the Conference League and we've got a tough tie against Vitória de Guimarães of Portugal. Can we start this Europa Conference League phase with a win? Let's see. Roll that title. Welcome back everybody to episode 44 of the Liechtenstein Challenge here with Vaduz, and as you can see we've already started season 11 here in Liechtenstein and we are 9 games into the Super League season. I'm going to show you the Super League games, then the qualifier rounds for the Conference League, give you an update with regards to transfers, and then we will get straight into this match against Vitória de Guimarães. This is how pre-season went for us. So we had 3 games at home against Athletic Club where we won 3-0, Ibor 2-0, and we had a friendly against Bochum, which I'll explain later in the video as to why we had that friendly. But 2 wins and 1 defeat, and then we started what I would say was okay with regards to our Super League. We've had a bit of a rocky August, but I think that's mainly been down to our Conference League adventures. But we started off with one of our bogey teams, Luzern. We got a 1-1 draw against the champions, who I should say are Luzern. They won the league last year. Lars Villiger scoring a goal in the first minute against Daniel Maximiano. Then our other bogey team, there's 2 bogey teams in this league for us, if you haven't guessed already, it's Luzern and Zurich. So Akurek getting a goal in the 12th minute for us against Zurich, and then we rounded off July with a 1-1 draw to Lausanne at home, and we deserved this draw. Kali Sene got a goal in the 16th minute, but Forsten Muller, who is one of our young new gens, got a goal in the last minute, and we deserved this draw. Unfortunately, with regards to August, we didn't have the best run, so we lost to Winterthur 1-0. A goal from one of our old players, Fabrizio Cavegin, if anybody can remember him from the early days. He's long gone now, but he is slotting around in a couple of Swiss clubs here or there, and then a 1-1 draw, a really disappointing 1-1 draw to Jamax, who have just got promoted. Gilholm scoring for us, Dalipi, I believe, getting an equaliser for Jamax, and then another disappointing defeat, this time at home though. Pascal Poggi getting a goal in the 54th minute. But yeah, a really disappointing result there against Young Boys. However, we did go to Basel and we were 2-0 down at half time. Esposito and Kamoko for Basel in the first half, but we switched our formation. So we've been playing a 4-3-3, and I'll go into this a little bit more in detail later, but we went back to the 3-4-3 that's worked well for us, and it got us goals thanks to Ibold and Spinrath, our 2 young German new gens. And then I have to show you this game against Thun because it was utter madness, and then I'll quickly show you the Servette game, and then we'll get into the European tie. Yeah, this has to be one of the most maddest games I've had at Vaduz. So Quiquaz scored in the first half in the 10th minute, really poor defending there. Another goal from him as well. We just did not defend really well in the first 20 minutes here. It's a soft header. I mean, he shouldn't be getting there, but we did turn it round in the first half. Guarini makes a nice run, and it plays to Akurek, and then Gilholm slots it in, making it 2-1 at 25 minutes. And then from a corner, Maximiano plays it in, and Alejandro, who was our new signing, got a equaliser. Then in the second half, we were much better, but unfortunately, Faye plays a ball, and Quiquaz gets his hat-trick. I don't know what he was doing there, but we did redeem ourselves from a corner again. Maximiano with a lovely run into the box, making it 3-3, and Gilholm getting a goal in the 85th minute. And here's me thinking that we were winning this match, and Kari plays a ball to Fadshi, and I don't know what was happening there. And yeah, it finished 4-4, probably the highest scoring draw we've had on the save so far, and I just had to show you that. And then to round up that league phase, we finished with a 3-0 win against Servette at home. Goals from Maximiano and Faye. So he redeemed himself from the Toon game, and as you can see from the stats, we deserved this one. So here is how things look in terms of our European adventure so far. As you can see, we've got a number of teams that we're going to play against. I'll show you those in a moment once we've got past the qualification phase. So we started off with a trip to Cyprus, Apol, Limassol, a 0-0 draw away from home, which was really disappointing. But luckily, we redeemed ourselves with a 2-0 win at home. And we thoroughly deserved this. Maximiano and Noah Lampert getting a goal in the 28th and 60th minute, respectively, seeing us through to play Ki of the Faroe Islands. And this was a really annoying game away from home. One shot on target for Ki from guard. As you can see, we absolutely blitzed them. We should have had 4 goals according to XG, but we couldn't beat them for whatever reason. However, when it did come to them coming to our place, we turned on the gas and smashed them 4-1. So we beat them 4-2 on aggregate. Goals from Teitman and 2 goals. I was going to say a hat-trick from Faye, but it's 2 goals from Alioun Faye, who is our defender, and Jacob Larson, or Jacob Larson, whichever the way you pronounce that, scored an own goal in the 67th minute. Let me get on with that. And Clean got an equaliser, or a consolation, sorry, in the 90th minute, finishing 4-2 on aggregate. That wasn't the end of it, though. We had a really weird spell. So originally, we were going to play our opponent that we played last season, which was Selji, but they got beat off a Romanian side, Lassie, I think this is called, or Paul Lassie. I'm just going to call them ACSM because that is their initials at the start. Went away to Romania, a comfortable 3-0 victory. We deserved it based off the stats and goals from Martin Schubert, Lampert, and Faye. Having said that, though, we came back and I thought the tie's done. It was certainly not done. We were 6-0 up on aggregate at half time in this match, but Nikasu and Dirasoba scored goals in the 59th, 60th, and 62 minutes respectively to make it 6-3 on aggregate. And I must admit, I was crapping myself thinking, hang on a second here, we're not going to bottle this, are we? Luckily, Henry Bellinga, our Cameroonian striker, scored a goal to make it 7-3 on aggregate. But it was not a comfortable game, and especially after the experience that I had last year, I was worrying that I was going to come here and say we're not in Europe this season again. But yeah, not the most comfortable of rides, but certainly not the worst. The teams that we've got, obviously I've mentioned Vitória de Guimarães. This is going to be a tough match against a team that is regular in the top flight in Portugal. We've also got their rivals, which I'll explain in a more. But we've got a team called Mura, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, no, we haven't played them, but I have seen them before in this competition at home after that. Then we've got Djurgårdens of Sweden away from home. That's not going to be an easy tie either. And then if anybody is an ultra of the save or has been following the save for a long time, CSK in 1948 were one of the first ever teams we played in the Liechtenstein Challenge, and they were one of the first teams we played in the Europa Conference League phase. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, we did. We beat them on penalties, I believe, to go through to the third round. We didn't qualify, unfortunately, but we have played these before, so that'll be interesting to see. And then we've also got Braga at home, who are Guimarães' rivals. And then finally, we have Dinamo Tbilisi of Georgia. So it's going to be an interesting 6 games. I'm certainly taking it seriously. After Guimarães' game today, I'm going to be playing Mura, Djurgårdens, and CSK 1948 off YouTube. And I think the better game will be Braga at home. Hopefully by then we might have qualified, but there's no guarantee, and it may be a double header where you see Braga and Tbilisi. But that is how things look with the Conference League phase. Here's the group as a whole. So I would probably say the favourites are going to be Brighton, Braga as well, I would say, Köln. There's a couple of other teams in there. Lyon in particular, I think, are a team to avoid, and we've avoided them, and Udinese. I'm just showing you the teams as they stand in terms of the coefficient. So the ones that aren't grayed out are in the competition. So I'd say the 4 favourites are Lyon, Slavia Prague, Braga, and Brighton, as I mentioned. I think Brighton are definitely going to be the favourites. And then I think it is Panathinaikos who remain in the tournament. I can't filter this out, unfortunately. Then it's ourselves. And madly enough, Athletic Club didn't make it through. That is crazy. I thought they'd be really a strong team. But then we've got Vojvodina, who do have a fellow Liechtenstein legend in Rodrigo Rego, so maybe we might see him. And then there's the usual other teams that are in the Conference League phase. Young Boys didn't make it. But yeah, you can see from the list there all the teams that have been in it so far. But by coefficient, technically, we are, I would say, 6th favourite. I don't think we are. I don't think we are in terms of that. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting Conference League phase. My goal is obviously to finish in that top 24. We've missed out on the last 2 occasions, if I'm not mistaken, when we've been in the Conference League phase. So the goal this year is to get into the knockout phases. So I'm just going to go through a number of transfers that have happened during the off-season. There has been some significant departures, but we have brought in some quality as well. But we've also promoted from youth. Here is the transfers so far for the 2033 and 34 season. As you can see, it's another year where we've had more departures than we've had incomings. As you can see, last year it's been the case for 2 seasons in a row now. So I'll go through the incomings first and then show you the departures. So you may have seen him in the last video, but Kenneth Kassar has become one of our permanent signings. We agreed a end of contract with him, and he has left West Ham to come to us. Really liking him so far, and somebody potentially in the future who could play both wings as well. But I'm really enjoying him along with Morris, who is our another English fullback. Then we signed Alejandro, and the reason why I signed him will become pretty clear in a moment. But we signed him from Rennes for roughly 5 million, 6.5 with add-ons. A guy who can play defensive midfield, and play on the wing. And looking at his corners and free kick taking, I really like the look of him. 6'1" as well. Personally, this guy, if we develop him right, is one of these guys who can play almost anywhere on the pitch. He can play in defence. He could play as a fullback if we need him to. He could play up front if we needed him to. But I really like the signing for £5 million, and I'm really happy with what we've got from him so far as well. Then just a little bit of a punt on deadline day. Halim Bakar from an Algerian club. We signed him for around 400k. One for the future, maybe 2 develop, but we will see. That's the same with Al Shihi. I hope I've pronounced that right. If not, apologies. But another one for the future as well. Signed him for 60k from Logroñés in Spain. But I really like the look of him, and he's only 18 as well, so he's got a lot of potential, which is really good. And as you know, that value's gone up really nicely. Then we signed Peter Cassidy, another bit of a punt signing. I've been trying to get a couple of these American guys in to the team, a bit like the striker that we sold to Kaiserslautern last year, Dan. 18 years old, and is also Irish as well, so we've got that as a backup in case, for whatever reason, he gets capped with the United States. He won't. I don't think he'd be treated as foreign because he won't be classed as foreign, if that makes sense, being the dual nationality. But yeah, a little bit of a punt signing. I don't know if it's going to be a one for the future. Probably a one that we're going to maybe, hopefully, sell for a profit. And then finally, one of the longest Dutch names I've seen for a while, Ennio van der Gouw. There's a reason we signed him, and I will show you in a more. But he is on loan from Man United. I needed an emergency goalkeeper. He's doing a job. He is literally in for the season, and that is it. And the reason we got that goalkeeper, well, unfortunately, our board decided to sell Jerzy Sobotka to Köln on the last day of the January transfer window. Yeah. And specifically, they only sold him for 5 million. I was fuming at this. He wanted to leave. I completely get that as well, that he wanted to leave. But it's super frustrating that the board just went over my head and didn't give me enough time to sort out a replacement. I have one in the pipeline for the future, but I'm really frustrated that we lost him. And it's not one of these signings where I kind of wish him all the best. I'm really frustrated with how he went about getting this move. But we have to move on. Hopefully we won't see him in the Conference League, but you never know. With regards to other sales, so we obviously sold Koulibaly. We made a loss on him, but we needed to get rid of him. Claudio has also left. He's gone to St. Louis City in the United States. He was really close to getting the Liechtenstein nationality. He was 204 days away. He didn't want to stay, and as a result, we decided to cash in on him. A surprising one as well, Dick Oidending has decided that he wants to leave, and he's gone to Vitesse. Very frustrating the way he's manufactured this move as well. Somebody that I spent a lot of time on developing, and he's just decided that he wanted to go. We got a good enough offer from Vitesse though. A bit of a surprising one maybe next is David Ordonez. We only signed him a couple of seasons ago. But an offer came in for 3.9 million, which is his release clause. And you know what? Out of all of the players that have left recently, I'm okay with letting him go. And yeah, he's one of these players where I go, all the best, David, for the future. And I think we've already replaced him with a better left back anyway. And to be honest, Ordonez, don't know if he's fully suited to being a fullback. Somebody been trying to get rid of recently, Victor Muschel. We sold them to Spezia. Spezia were really, really painful with this sale. As you can see in the bottom right-hand corner there, they've got 45 million and they would just not budge, but it got to a point where they basically had to pay and shut up. And we ended up getting about 2.4 million for him. Araj has also left. He didn't want Liechtenstein nationality, so I sold them to Brescia. Marvin Boyer has finally left the club as well. We thought he was going to be our guy to take us into the future, but this hasn't been the case. We don't wish him well because he's been a bit of a pain in the backside. And just a couple of other players that have gone. So first of all is Paris. Just didn't really develop, unfortunately, and wasn't willing to sign a new deal. Heidelberg is probably the most disappointing out of the lot that I've let go. I really think there is potential there, but he just obviously wanted more game time, and Gladbach is just a better offer at the moment than ourselves. And Salomon Montag, who we signed from one of the German clubs, has decided to go to Luzern. The only other major departure, and the reason why we signed Alejandro, is Johnson decided that he wanted to leave the club. Johnson's been one of our regulars in the last couple of seasons. A really disappointing way he's gone about leaving the club. I really like this guy, and if he does want to stay, it's going to be a problem now because we signed Alejandro. But if he does want to stay, there's the potential for that. But he's gone on loan to Cluj in Romania, and they are paying his full wages, and we've got a bit of a loan fee as well. Justin Barnacle, one of our hot prospects, has gone to AAB in Denmark, and he needs this time to develop his potential. Hopefully, he can get a number of games, but I am a little bit concerned at the moment that he is not getting much game time for the Danish side. Nico Gunfer, off the back of his successful loan spell to Bellinzona, has gone on loan to Jamax, who are currently in the Swiss Super League, and he's also a Liechtenstein international, so it was a no-brainer to loan him out. The remaining players that have been loaned out, so Thiel and Wegman have gone on loan to Dam, which I'm really happy about. Diego, our goalkeeper, has gone on loan to Bellinzona. I'm not sure if I see potential there, hence why I've loaned him out and risked the no Liechtenstein nationality, but I can't see him getting a cap for Brazil at the moment. Julian Foreman, who we signed from the Spanish club last season, who was a Liechtenstein national, sent him straight out on loan to Paris FC to get a bit more game time and develop, but this guy is definitely one for the future. David Freebe has gone to ZTE, our affiliate, and Lucas Fair has gone on loan to Eschken Marin, and we've also loaned Eisentraut to St. Paddy Athletic in Ireland. So that's a complete summary of the transfers. Let's get into this huge match against Vitória de Guimarães. This is the team I'm going to go with for the game this evening against Guimarães. Van der Gouwer is in goal. Pastor is going to be our number 2 for this season. Kassar is the right back with Faye, Kaminski and Alex Morris taking up the left back role. Martin Schubert is the anchor man with Teitman and Alejandro in the centre of midfield. Maximiano, Akirek and Simon Beale are the strikers / wingers. And we've also got a couple of youngsters on the bench from our youth teams. Just one player I wanted to mention as well, Campana. We signed him last season on loan, but we've made that deal permanently. That's the one transfer that I didn't show you in the transfer history, so apologies for missing that out. That's the lineup. Let's get into this match. This is it. We are in Portugal, in Guimarães, for the game against Vitória Guimarães. They're going with a 4-4-2. We are going to go with our 4-3-3, but on the counter-attack. So we came up with 2 formations with the 4-3-3. So the one that's been really successful for us in the past that we use at home. We use the counter-attack against teams away from home or teams that are bigger than us, better than us. And then we've got the 3-4-3 that we use against the other teams. But let's see how we get on. Hopefully, a successful campaign. Apologies for this, but I made a muck-up after the opening to the game. I decided to press stop recording into the first half because I was switching something off in my room. I've missed the first goal or the live reaction of the first goal for Guimarães. So I will show you that now, along with the highlight that we had in the first half, and then we'll get straight into the second half. I can only apologise, and hopefully it won't happen again. So here's the first highlight. It's Teitman to Faye. Plays a ball to Kassar. We are playing really high, but also I would say Guimarães are doing the same. Beale plays a lovely ball into Akirek, but it just falls to the wrong person. And then in the 39th minute, we conceded a corner, and Ribeiro scored a goal in the 39th minute to make it 1-0 before half-time, which was really frustrating. Really poor defending from Van der Gouwer and our entire back line, to be fair, on the posts. So here we are in the 56th minute. I'm thinking about potentially making some changes. There hasn't been many highlights in the second half. as of now. Our front five in Alejandro, Teitman, Maximiano, Akirek, and Beal on potato. Our front five in Teitman, Alejandro, Maximiano, Akirek, and Beal aren't playing particularly well. Also looking at Kaminsky and Fay and potentially seeing if we can make a change there at centre back to see if that'll do anything. But I think as soon as we get to 60 minutes, which I think we will do now, we're going to make some changes. Yeah, I'm not totally convinced about how we are playing here. I'm going to bring on Silla, and I'm also going to bring on Kamara. And the fact that my two centre midfielders are frustrated really worries me. So it's going to be Muller and Lampert. And I think that's everything for now. I'm just going to say to the boys that are coming on, just give it your all. We do seem to be playing a little bit better in this second half, but it looks like Guimarães have got a highlight, but we do recover really well there. Lampert tries to play the ball to Kamara, but we lose it immediately. Infrante, good save from Van der Goa. Corner from Belladonna. Doesn't lead to anything though. And we have changed the formation slightly. We've went with our positive formation rather than the cautious one. I think I'm going to go a little bit more direct as well. I'm going to give it 5 more minutes and then I think I'm going to take Beal off. Yeah, I'm going to take Beal off now. I'm going to bring Bellinger on. Now, he's been playing a couple of games for us this season, but hasn't really done it. So now is the time to put yourself forward, Bellinger. Only in 31st position, so it's not too bad if we do lose this first game. I am going to be a little bit annoyed if we don't get anything from this game, because I don't think they necessarily have been the better team. Guimarães. 88 minutes, it's not looking good, folks. 3 minutes of added time. Well, that was a boring game. I bet you're glad you missed it now. It was not a particularly good game from us. Apologies once again about that absolute muck-up from me. I will try my best for that not to happen again. We're currently 31st in the league. Not panic stations yet, but we are going to have to win every game at home and just try our best to avoid defeats away from home. That was an annoying result to Guimarães. I thought we probably could have got a draw out of that. Once again, apologies for missing some of the match there. That's on me, and I will try my best not to do that again in future. Lesson learned. But I think the best way to go forward now is just to go through those 3 games in the Conference League and then potentially give you maybe a double header for Braga and Tbilisi, but here's hope and fingers crossed. And I've been looking at previous phases we've been in. We need 9 points, I would say, roughly, to qualify. That doesn't guarantee you, but the next 3 games against Mura, Djurgårdens and CSK, they're probably the easiest games because Braga's going to be a tough match. But I think they're all going to be tough games. But we will see how we do when we get to that match against Braga on the 12th of December. If you have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next one. Take it easy, stay safe. Bye everybody.